What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? Man, it's me, your big partner, Cartoon 53. Man, I'm coming back again, man, with a very, very exclusive interview, man, with a very esteemed person off that east side, man. A lot of y'all been asking me about him. A lot of y'all seen him on Rep Your Set and other things like that. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself to y'all, man. Introduce yourself, man, to the Foundation. Let them know who you are, where you're from.
First of all, what's up, loved one? This is Bull Capone, East Side boy, one of the greatest, baby.
Okay. Let the Foundation know what set you from, though.
I come about the 50s. 5'3", address 345 East 53rd Street. That's where I come up. That's me, baby.
So it would be quite right to say that you are a member of the Fire Trey Avalon Gangster Crips.
Well, let me say this. I never been a member. Never been a member. We was a part of something that I called very exclusive because we was brothers. So we wasn't never no members. We was all a part of a brotherhood.
Right.
And because members come and go, brothers stay together forever.
That's right. Okay, could you let the Foundation know what was your experience like growing up in the 50s on that east side?
Well, a lot of people we talk about this a lot, on how all of us come up, and cats we ran with and the era we come from, and it was different. It was totally different. It wasn't nothing like it was today. I tell people all the time, as a youngster, we coming up and it was dudes before us and it was dudes stomping them same streets that we was stomping. They was before us and they was still out there and they was handling their business, and though we was youngsters, we was kids in a sense, but we was learning and I tell some dudes, man, it was back then it was black everywhere you looked. It wasn't mixed up like it is now. Everything was predominantly black, and so it wasn't no avoid nobody, and them Avalons was there. They was there when them boys was there. So it wasn't no avoiding them and just being cautious because we was younger and them dudes wasn't playing no games with nobody at that time. We see certain dudes coming. We was crossing the street, you know what I'm saying? And we was going through the store. We was trying to tuck our little stuff in our pocket so they don't take it. You know what I'm saying? And it was a learning curve. The whole process was a learning curve. You was learning how to grow up around there. You was learning how to be what you was gonna be around there, and you was getting that from dudes that was before you. Them was the big homies. You know what I mean? The real big homies that we didn't know them like we became to know them. So we was fair game too. So we wasn't above getting pushed down or pushed to the side or even ran over if that's what they wanted to do. Those things was happening. So it wasn't peaches and cream growing up. It was a learning curve. You had to learn fast or get ran on.
Okay, that's what's up. Could you let the Foundation know, man? Had you ever did YA in prison time?
Yes, sir.
Let them know. Could you let them know your experience with YA in prison?
Yes, sir. First, I kind of stayed fucking up when I was little. Come through the juvenile hall system. I don't even want to say how old I was. I was young. I was in Unit J. If any of y'all out there know what Unit J was in juvenile hall, that was the youngest unit there. I was there at that time, and come through the camp system a couple of times. Went through Camp Scott Scudder. Came through there. And come through the YA system, Fred C. Nellis. And done 5 years, 11 months in Nellis. Then come through CMC and Tehachapi. That's why I come through.
Was the experiences that you went through back then, the people that you were around during your YA stay, were those some reputable names from back in the day?
Very, very. That was me. You know how it is, man. Me, you, a lot of cats that we come up with. I kind of call that the most pivotal point of gang banging at that time, because all those dudes had come together in these youth authority places, and they was somebody and they was becoming somebody. And a lot of the dudes that's today that's still here from that era, those dudes, some of them liked, a lot of them is loved, because of the friendships that we made coming through that system, because that was a get down system. That wasn't the YA system wasn't no all the time handshake deal. The YA system was a get down system. And that's why I say the dudes that came along in that era, that made it through that era right there, and made it through those jails right there, the YA system, then with some get down guys, because it wasn't no lip service going on, wasn't none of that going on. It was squabble or get squabbled up, you know what I'm saying, or get beat up,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, and it wasn't and you got to realize that a lot of dudes had time, YA time, I was a 9-year guy. I had 9 years in the youth authority system, so it wasn't you had to be on my unit for us to get down. No, we was going to get you. You know what I'm saying? We was coming across the yard to get you. We was squabbling in the child hall. The child hall, you squabbled or you inciting a riot. You know what that's automatic time. All that wasn't no issue to us at that time. We had a problem with you. That was gonna get handled immediately. It wasn't gonna be no woofing. It wasn't gonna be none of that. We was coming at you. You know what I'm saying? And I come up there. I was on my road, death row. Left Hayes first. Was on Hayes Hale House. A lot of good cats was over there. Went to Monroe and chilled on Monroe with my folks, and then I paroled in I think 86, violated and went back and went to TS. Same program, went up to TS, seen the fruit cats at that time, still doing my thing. Got down with the fruit cats up there, regulated some stuff up there, and got on. I maxed out at TS.
Would you say that would you consider yourself what a lot of people coming up back in the day called themselves the YA baby?
Well, that's new. That's something new, and I don't knock that part of what of that saying as far as a YA baby, but it seemed like our time was more like, even though we was young, I think we handled things more like men, and we was on man time, and you know the story. Everybody, just about everybody, left that California Youth Authority system and made their way to the penitentiary. So we wasn't on the horse playing tip. We wasn't on the young folk game in that style. They style is different from ours. They style is one of a lot of talking and woofing. Our style wasn't that. So we wasn't never, I wouldn't use that language towards us, the YA baby thing. I use it as because I always felt like at that time, the part of the YA system we was coming through, it was my life was on the line every day because we was banging like that. We was getting it like that. We was going in there like that. So it wasn't we wasn't playing, man. We wasn't playing at all.
See, a lot of times them dudes they use that term "why, baby," because back in the day, like going into prison, a lot of the homies that was riding in prisons, that was the true riders, the true lokes, were the ones who did a lot of YA time and had that early training and brought that early training to prison with them, and they just took it from there and just took off with it.
Yeah, that's why I said what I said. It felt like we was in training because we all know what gang banging bring. It unless you stop it, it don't end well. You know what I'm saying? And so me personally, I knew I was a penitentiary candidate because I wasn't done. You know what I'm saying? I was still fast. I was still quick on the trigger. I was still no nonsense. I was still all of that. So I knew what my next level was. It was just a matter of time before I got there. But I knew where I was headed because that's what I was still doing. So what I'm saying is the dudes that come through that system in the youth authority system then, they was the same way. They wasn't playing no games. It was it was almost like I'll see you on the next level because we knew eventually if we wasn't dead, that's where we was going because we knew we hadn't changed. We hadn't changed yet. So it wasn't no sugarcoat, nothing, wasn't no playing with it. It was a dog eat dog world. It was raw, it was uncut, it was what it was. All them dudes, major ups to all them dudes who came through there strong, made it. You know what I'm saying? And like me now out the game, but hats off to you cats, man, because you made it both sides. You know what I'm saying? And when I say both sides, you know what I'm saying? I ran across one thing about me, I don't mind telling the truth about what it is that made you, because it was dudes on both sides, and at the time with us, and you know this, with us, we wasn't fighting Crips, so Crips wasn't no issue with me. You know what I'm saying? We was fighting Bloods, so the Bloods that we was getting down with, we was getting down. It's Bloods that brought it, and it's Crips that brought it. You know what I'm saying? And my hat's off to all them cats that come through that system.
So basically, what you're saying is like back during that time, like I've heard in the past, I heard from a lot of different people that Avalon's was one of the only sets around that wasn't fighting other Crips.
We didn't knuckle up with Crips. I didn't. I squabbled a Crip. I squabbled a Crip in YA. Big Insane. He gone now. He no longer with us. But me and him became real cool. But we got down over an issue. But me being from Fire Trade, we didn't get along. We did not get along with. We got along with all Crips. You know what I'm saying? We didn't squabble Crips at all. You know what I'm saying? And that went a long way with us. You know, for years. That's how it was, and that's one of the reasons why I'm like I am today. I get along with everybody today, but I can safely say that wasn't my get up. I understood where I was from and what I was and all that stuff I was talking about earlier about how we came up dealing with dudes in our neighborhood that did things a certain way. We understood that. Is we was young, but I knew everybody from my neighborhood that was at the top. I knew everybody who started my neighborhood. I knew everybody where my neighborhood started, who started it, who was there. knew all of them personally. You know what I'm saying? And that was a must for us coming up out of South Park. We knew what we was talking about. We knew what we was about. We knew what our foundation was. We wasn't reckless. We didn't see you and we didn't like you because you were crippin' and you was a little swollen than us at that time. Or you looked at a little rougher than something else. We didn't go by that. We knew what Crip was. And that's what we represented. And we didn't represent it by fighting Crips.
Right. You got brothers and sisters?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are your brothers and sisters, well, brothers and sisters or just brothers?
I got brothers. I'm gonna talk about one of my brothers because I miss him. But he was in YA with me. And that's my brother Big Nose. He was in YA with me. And he a year older than me. That boy was my heart. That was my heart. My brother no longer with me. And I got a lot of brothers and I got sisters but he was dear to me. He always looked out for me, always took care of me. I was much larger than he was, but you couldn't tell him that. He, his best interest in heart was always Bull. He loved me and I loved him and I miss my brother, man. I miss my brother dearly.
So how long has your brother been gone?
I lost my brother in 2009. 2009, I lost him.
And he was an upstanding, reputable member of the Fire Trade gang.
Yes, sir. Always was there. Stood in the gap all the time. You know what I'm saying? Big Nose, 5'3" AGC. He was one of the ones that was with us when Avalons was Avalons and Fire Trades was Fire Trades. And when Fire Trades came about, Fire Trades was Fire Trade Boys. Started on 53rd. And Avalons was Avalons. But every last original Fire Trade, every last one of them guys who started Fire Trade was an Avalon. All of them was an Avalon first. Then they branched off and they started Fire Trade. And when they started Fire Trade, they started Fire Trade Boys. All the G homies was Fire Trade Boys. Then when we came along and we started putting our thing down, we was Fire Trades. And me and some other cats, we the ones who came along later on in the 70s and put the Fire Trade Avalon Gangsta Crip together. We connected it all together, and that's how we became Fire Trade Avalon Gangsta Crips. We the ones who started that. That's why I always hit them with one of the ones who started that gangster shit. Mm-hmm. This the motherfucking thanks I get. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little joke with that, but that's how that happened.
So could you tell the foundation about at one time it was a gang in the area that's no longer there called 5 Ace Bumper Jacks. Are you aware of them?
Yes, sir. One of my other brothers, he no longer with me either. He was the original Big Nose. He was from 5 Ace Bumper Jack. He was one of the founders of 5 Ace Bumper Jack. Him and Bird and Big Warlock and Red and Earl and all them, they was originals. They started 5 Ace Bumper Jack. My brother was one of them. And they was right along with us. When we came up, we ran together. It was 5 Aces and 5 Trays, but we were so close, and we come up together when a lot of the Bumper Jacks was older, so a lot of the young 5 Aces just kind of like transitioned over to 5 Tray because we was all pretty much the same anyway.
Right. So in this day and age, the way things have changed a lot. What do you think? What do you think about the face of cripping now that things have changed so much? Such as like how you got a lot of times the younger homies don't want to respect the older homies, and it seems like it's a age gap to the point to where the problems can't be solved.
Well, that's kind of like twofold. And what I mean by that is anybody who was schooled up right and was brought up right, if you participate in something and you are actively involved in something, you have to be a supporter. That's anything. If you in church, you have to support. If you in music class, you have to contribute. If you play football, you have to contribute. If you play whatever you're a part of that make up a team, you have to support. The problem with that, in my opinion, that a lot of the people have today is, that's why I don't use the term members, because members is actually nothing to me. Because I'm gonna come back to this, but I want to say this, because when we came up, all our G homies had got older. They was older. They wasn't running with us. They wasn't holding our hands, and they wasn't this and that and this and that and this and that. Wasn't none of that. You know what I'm saying? We seen enough to know enough. We knew how to crip by way of they led by action, and we followed those actions. We understood what to go for and what not to go for. We understood that we was collectively, respectfully protecting what we was calling ours, and that was our streets, where we come up at. And we was there to represent them streets. We made ourselves available to each other as brothers to represent and do it together, not members, brothers. You know what I'm saying? Because you my brother, man. You mean something to me. When you just a member to me, I can just take off and when I want to away from you. A member because you're nothing to me. But you my brother. I'm putting emphasis on brothers because you stand by your brothers. And that's what we did. So nowadays what you have is, and let me say this one last thing. We come up together, man. You know what I'm saying? I ate over your house. You ate over mine. You know what I'm saying? You knew all my folks just like I knew all your folks. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no secret. We all knew each other, man. We come up like that, man. Nowadays, you have, sometimes you get some good, sometimes you get something that's not so good. And people coming from everywhere and being a part of something. So they don't have no foundation from what it is that they claiming. And so what happens is some do, some don't. Some become close, some become tight, some become okay, you know, and that ain't good enough because somebody else in the same clique could be just a little bit more okay than the other guy. And that's the guy they gravitate to or lean towards. So the other guy that's really a decent guy, he don't have the same kind of pull or the same kind of name as the other guys in their eyes because they don't look at him like that. You know what I'm saying? So when this dude could be right telling the other dudes who didn't gravitated toward each other something right where they may be wrong, they still, because they got numbers, they go against a guy that's really trying to tell them right. Because they got numbers and they not gonna fix each other because they didn't got too close to each other to where they close just to be close. You know, they not close to get what we got. You know what I'm saying? Understanding out each other. You know what I'm saying? Purpose, you know that, man. You stayed the furthest. You stayed the furthest. You got walked all the way home. You know I'm not lying, bro.
True that.
You got walked all the way home because it was me and I had two more brothers that was stomping the streets with me. And so we was all three together. We was always the last ones going home.
Mm-hmm.
But we had to walk everybody home. We had to go to everybody's block. All right, I'm going home. And then didn't nobody go home alone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't had no car, so that's how we did it.
Right.
So we was together because we was brothers. We wasn't together because we were just members and just friends. We was stronger than that. We was more than that to each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they don't have today. They don't have more than that. You know what I'm saying? They just a part of fire trade or whatever sets is out there. A lot of cats is just I'm from the set.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you're not governing to brotherhood. And that's where it lost it with me and a lot more of us that tread the same water. It's not the same.
So let me ask you this. Would you agree that I would say the bigger a set gets, the more it opens up doors for discord and disloyalty and problems?
Yes, sir.
When you got so many different members now versus when it was a close-knit 20, 25, 30 that was real close-knit versus nowadays you got sets that rival in the hundreds, 2, 3, 400s. Don't nobody really know each other like they used to, so the loyalty ain't there no more.
I agree. I agree with explanation. Numbers in our eyes didn't make a difference.
Right.
But numbers today in their eyes make a difference. And I'm trying to be funny with this, but a lot of kids is built different. A lot of kids is built different.
True that.
Yo, I don't know if you remember when you was big man, and I was BT. You know what I'm saying? Those was our names. But look how big you was, too. Look how big I was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We were buff and iron when we come through the system. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing I want to ask you too now. Let me ask you this while this on my mind, man, because I didn't know. What was your max?
In YA or prison?
Both.
Well, when I was coming through Y, I used to always do arms, and I never really wanted to do chess a lot. What got me really into doing chess was the homeboy Demon from the set.
Mm-hmm.
And we was in TS and we went in the gym, and I couldn't bench 225, and the homie Demon could, but I was big as I don't know what. And Monster Cody from A-Tray Gangster and Tafuga, Big Roscoe from Park Village Compton, they would always tell me, man, start benching, and that's what got me into benching. It didn't really get real heavy until I went to prison. Now, when I went to prison, and I did the heaviest I got to 625 when I was in prison in Alabama. When I was in prison in California, I would say my max at that time might have been 470, 480.
Okay, well, hell, if you did 625, you was stronger than me. I done 530. That was in the penitentiary. That was my max. I couldn't get 540 up off me, but I got 530 up off me. You know what I'm saying? So I tip my hat to you on that, because I always wanted to. You my bro, and we ain't never had that conversation like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, the homie Demon smashed me on the bench, and skinny as he was.
But now that's what I did to him. Now, like, I wasn't an armed guy, but I would rep. Big Tick was an armed guy. Tick used to get back on 200 pounds way before we was getting it like that. Mm-hmm. You know, Tick was an armed guy. When he was buff. But I would do all those routines, but I was a chest guy. I was rep iron, but I'd take 350 and I rep 350 15 times, 15 sets. You know, I was a rep guy. You know, so that's why I asked that question. But I always wanted to know that because I heard that. I said, well, I'm gonna ass tune that. You know what I'm saying? And I tip my hat to you, bro. If you did 625, you stronger than me.
Yeah, when I got to prison in Alabama, you know, they still had that iron was real big out there where they was still on it, and we had some real live iron dogs, and I got directly into it, and then you know, one of the really things that really made me really push was here it is, you know, I'm big Crip to them coming from California, so I had to put on for my city.
You had to get it in.
Had to get it in.
Yeah. Had to tune them up. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What would you say? A lot of people say that that Avalon Crip is the oldest set on the east side as far as when names will start giving out behind Castle Crip. Would you agree with that?
I know that from my knowledge, from the folks that I dealt with, IG boys, IG cats, you know, the ripping game with them was 70, 71. The Crip thing was 69. I'm gonna have to agree with that on the Castle before the Avalons. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why I said it the way I said it, because we all know, you know, 69 just the east side Crips, then Castle Crips.
That's what I was
behind
saying.
them.
Yeah, because
what would you say was the oldest behind Castle?
But see now here where in my opinion it was all tricky because like I said, every original fire trade was the Avalon, every last one of them. And every original east side Crip over there became Avalon. That you know, from our end. So that's where it was. That part of that is on them. I can register from 70 moving forward because I'm pretty for sure it was 70, 71 with Avalon. Pretty for sure of that. You know, so Avalon's is old. Is old. And another thing, a lot of people like to say that Avalon's and fire trades was offspring of businessman, and they wasn't. Businessman was come out in 1957, and all the founders of Businessman, I know them too. Every last one of them, and they come out in 57. Avalon's and fire trades wasn't offsprings to them. You know, that was they clique.
True that.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Do you see the Businessman as big homies or just a entity that was there before us?
I see Businessman as something that I greatly respect. I have 3 brothers from Businessman. I have 3 of my brothers was from Businessman. Some of my cousins was from Businessman. I always respected them. They fought with Avalons. You know, they fought against Avalons. You know, they fought at that park.
A lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people don't know that they fought at that park. You know, they fought over that park. And that was a lot of the stuff that we endured coming up as youngsters. I'm, you know, as a youngster, like I say, you know, my brothers had got out of town because they was on the run at the time, and they had got out of town. And my brothers that I'm talking about now, all of them deceased. Those are deceased too. They my older brothers. They was from businessman. They got out of town, and it was an issue took place. You remember when Goldenberg was up on 51st and Avalon, and my daddy went up there and got some chicken and never made it home with it. He made it home, but the chicken had to stay. Them niggas took my daddy chicken, man. And them Avalon niggas and them businessman niggas up there took my daddy chicken. And Crazy Ronald Mike, well, Pops come home and we like, what to get down there, where the food at? And shit, it was gone. And but you know, Crazy Ronald from Businessman, he knew my daddy, he knew my brother and them, and he was telling them, and you know, Ronald wasn't no goddamn joke around there, and he brought chicken around there to the house, and but he told them, you know, Ronald wanted to do something, but he didn't because they didn't know, you know what I'm saying, and that's how I met Ronald way back then, you know. And Ronald knew my whole family. Him and my sister and them went to school together. And then, but Ronald used to start calling me when he see me. He started calling me, that's Woodrow's baby boy. You know what I'm saying? Letting people know, you know, don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? And me and all my brothers, when we was coming up, you know, we crippin' now. So we starting to crip, so we coming up, so he let that be known like that. But the businessmans, it was good businessmans, great businessmans, man, that I respect dearly, man. You know, just like I respect my G homies dearly. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. When you were younger coming up as a young Avalon, in your experience and your knowledge, to your understanding, what were some of the main sets that Fire Trey Avalon really got along with back in them days?
Broadways, East Coasters, and I wanna really put emphasis on that. With like me, I went to school with a lot of coasters, and you know, every time we left the 50s going south, we had to come through the coasters. And, you know, us coming from that era where that was important because the coasters gave us major props coming through their neighborhood, man. Looked out, we didn't have no problem going through the coasters. You know what I'm saying? Getting to where we had to go. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no tripping, no nothing, man. It was just 'cause we would hang and kick it, or we'd just keep moving on 'cause we were walking to a party or something. We was on the move. You know what I'm saying? So I give major ups to them dudes, man, because them dudes were stand-up dudes back then, and I know a lot of stand-up guys right now from the coasters. The coasters was good with us. The Hoovers was good with us. We wasn't having no issues with no Hoovers. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got a lot of Hoover partners. Great Hoover partners, man.
Would you say Avalon had real close ties back then during them times with the main streets and the kitchens?
I was getting all them. Let me just say it like this here before I don't exclude nobody. From main streets to kitchens to East Coasters to Broadways to West Boulevards. And when I say coasters, I'm talking about all the coasters was migrating, hanging with us in the park. And we was migrating, hanging with them in their hoods. So it wasn't no issue with, we wasn't having no issue with nobody. No 60s, no 111s, nobody, man. All them was our guys, man. We was cool with people, man. We was cool with people, they were cool with us. You know?
All right.
Even though when the A Tray and the 60 thing broke out, cause we was trays. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak on everybody else, but I know for a fact, me personally, you know what I'm saying? I know the role that I played in that many a times, and it was never bad. Cause I didn't, you know, my partners that was from 60s was my partners. My partners that was from A Tray was my partners. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't get persuaded in to go against either one of them. You know what I'm saying? And I know for a fact that didn't no A Tray get jumped around me, and didn't no 60 get jumped around me.
You was the mediator.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate both sides respecting me as such. And I can safely say that.
Okay. What do you think about the role that females play in gangbanging today?
Well, I came up one way, and that was just the way. A crip was a crip, and a cripplette was a cripplette. And the difference between today and back then was a cripplette knew her role. These girls nowadays don't know they role like that. They don't know they role like that. You know just as well as I know, within us, when Five Trades was started, it was one girl in the house. That was BB. BB, Boss Hog, and Sleepy, and Wolf is the oldest Five Trades. Those are the oldest Five Trades. They was in that house. It was one. BB was the G homegirl. She was a cripplette. And she knew how to be a cripplette. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no if and buts about it. You know what I'm saying? BB checked out. I think BB had got shot 5 times. Left the hospital, come up on 51st, smoked a wet one, and didn't recover. But BB was a hog, but she knew how to be a cripplette. You know what I'm saying? She was a part of the brotherhood, the way it was supposed to be. It was meant to be. She knew her role and she played it well. These girls nowadays, you know, the most likable guy, I guess, give them a pass and this. But let me say this so I can be understood. We didn't get down for girls, man. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't squabbling you over no brawl, man. Wasn't gonna happen. We was taught better than that. You know what I'm saying? Not to disrespect nobody, but we was all we had and we was all we needed. I don't go to jail and go to the girls' prison. When I go to jail, I stand by you when you in there and we together. That's what it was. We brothers, we stand by each other, man. You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't my thing. I don't get in it now. I never did. You know what I'm saying? I don't get into no, hey man, this dude, the homie tripped on the homegirls. Well, he just tripped on them in my eyes, cause I don't get into that one. I don't play that game. First of all, I'm married. I ain't going to jail over no other woman. My wife gonna bail me out talking about, what you in there for? You squabbling over her? No. I didn't play it then, I don't play it now. And I will say this, like I tell any other girl, you can't whoop no dude, stay in a lady's place. Cause you don't, if you in this here, and you don't abide by the rules, you know, when we come up, girls didn't talk back to us. Was a no-no. Wasn't gonna happen.
Wasn't gonna happen at all. We didn't have to worry about that. They do it now.
We see it all day long now. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this last question before we wrap it up. You you dedicated your life. You gave a lot of years of your life to this cripping. Do you have any regrets?
Yeah. And it's the truth, Tune. You know you my bro, man. You call me all the time. I call you. We talk, man. We holler. I like to think that I give you the best advice that I can give you, and I know you take what I had to say to heart, and likewise, bro, you know I do that the same with you, man. And I wouldn't be a part of this with you, communicating on this level and don't say this. I wish I'd have been smarter. I wish I would have went in another direction, because I felt like I had a better career. You know, I was very athletic, man. I played sports. You know what I'm saying? I played all sports, swim. Hell, I even played volleyball. I was MVP in that. You know what I'm saying? And all of us, you included, and our brothers that we ran with, man, was very athletic, man, and a lot of guys come up out of the park, man, that made it. And that's what I regret, man, because I believe in my heart, man, we could have made it. I believe that in my heart. Can't nobody tell me different, man. We had dudes who played baseball with the best of them. We had dudes who played basketball with the best of them. We had dudes who played football with the best of them. We had dudes that swim with the best of them. We had dudes that run track with the best of them. But we went in the wrong direction. And that's what I regret. I regret that, man, because I know in my heart that some of us could have made it. And I believe I was one of them. So yeah, I regret that. Cause I love my daddy, man. My daddy died on my birthday, man. That was my daddy. My mama died when I was 1. My daddy raised me. You know, that was my guy, man. You know, my daddy was my guy. And he used to always tell us, use your youth while you have it. Because after a while, you're not going to have it no more. Mm-hmm. And we played sports. We cripped like a motherfucker, but we played sports. And I wish we'd have had just a little bit more sense than what we had and went the other way instead of that way. That's the truth for me, man.
I hear it. I hear that. So here it is, Foundation. Y'all just had an exclusive interview with Big.bull Capone, Fire Trey Avalon Gangsta Crip. He gave it to you in the raw, man. He gave it to you in the raw. So any comments that you may have that you want to ask the homie, just put them in the comments, and they will be answered. But in the meantime, in between time, man, Foundation Nation for the win. Any parting words, Mr. Bull?
Don't never forget this, man. You only as good as them great guys who stand next to you.
And I
thank
agree.
God I have some great ones stand next to me.
And I agree.